Green Bay, they've been in the headlines. They had a lot of confidence coming into the season. You had Aaron Rodgers coming in here looking like Nicolas Cage from Con Air. He came out guns blazing. I guess that was the theme. But when the season started, it was anything but that. There was trouble between both running backs. You see Rodgers not getting any chemistry with his new receivers. The fact that they have just rookie receivers just all around. They only have Alan Lazard at the moment. There's been a lot of turmoil. You have Rodgers in the corner, having an argument with his coach on the field. But let me ask the question. I'll start with you, Key. If the Packers fail to make the playoffs this season, is Matt Lafleur on the hot seat?
I think he will be on the hot seat. I think it's time for him to be on the hot seat. Let's just be real here. You go to, since he's been here with the Packers, he's been to the playoffs, NFC championship games. Last year, he lost in the first round. First home field advantage don't mean anything. But as of today, as of right now, if they don't turn their season around, at least make it to the playoffs, I believe he will be in the hot seat. There's just too much, not just say drama going on. Rodgers with his don't want to practice with his receivers. Then he want to get mad when they don't catch, and then
he's always been like that.
You seen him arguing on the sidelines with Lafleur last week, saying what was that play. So I just felt like it's time for Lafleur to be accountable for some of these things. So Matt Lafleur, you're I hope your butt is getting toasty and you like your seat hot because it's coming.
All right, Dante, let me ask you: if the Packers don't make the playoffs this season, will Matt Lafleur be on the hot seat?
I don't think so. But it is a business at the end of the day too. I think his seat gets hot, but I don't think he, gets fired. And the reason is, like, you got to think about this year and all the turmoil that they've been through. He hadn't had any help from the front office as far as the GMs or the GM is concerned for them bringing any help. They got rid of one of his best weapons in Devontae Adams, which rest in peace, man. I got his jersey on. He ain't a Packer no more. So yeah, I mean, and then Rashawn Gary got injured this year. Like, that's a huge blow for their defense too. So I know it's a business, and they're gonna say next man up mentality and things like that, and hopefully they get their ship turned around really, really fast, coming off the good win last week with Christian Watson finally not being the garbage time monster that he was in college. So maybe we might see a little bit of that talent that everybody has been boasting about. But it only took him 10 weeks to get his mind right. So, it is what it is. But I don't think so. I think LaFleur is a good coach to deal with. It's kind of like, you have to compare Aaron Rodgers to like that old cat in your house, because we got one of them. Garfield, he lives down in the basement. The only time he comes up is to see my wife. He don't come when I'm around, or either when he smells food that I order, he comes up, gives me the death stare, and says, "Hey man, what, you gonna give me some fries? Like, what's up, dog? I'm tired of eating cat food downstairs." He's that old cat that is not going to learn. It's not the dog, because sometimes you could teach old dogs new tricks. Sometimes cats are stubborn. Aaron Rodgers is stubborn. So you got to kind of look at that too. Like, nothing that Matt LaFleur is going to say is going to make him happy, especially if they're not winning or if they're not putting any weapons around him. So he's doing a good job for what he has had with, with his quarterback and with his wide receiver situation, with his defensive situation. He's a good coach. I don't think he gets enough credit for it, but I think it gets hot just because of the business. But realistically, I think he has, he at least has 2 more years to get his mind right. It just gets a little toasty.
All right, Don, let me ask you, like Dante mentioned, we talked about Aaron Rodgers. He just signed a new deal. We all know sometimes when Aaron wants certain things, he gets into the front office ears, but we also know there's been times where he's been screaming at the top of his lungs for things, such as a wide receiver, and he still hasn't gotten that yet. So do you think at the end of this season, if they don't make the playoffs, does Rodgers talk to the front office and say, I think it's time for a change? Does the front office think that, with all this talent that they have, With one thing that Green Bay has been missing for years was the defense. Something that they have now. They have offensive weapons. They're just missing a certain thing. Could it be the coaching? Do you think that they move on from Matt Lafleur if they do not make the playoffs this season?
Well, I'll agree with everybody else in the point that, yeah, he'll get a hot seat, but I don't think they'll move on from him this year. I do think Rodgers is going to speak up about it. If this was, say, a few years ago before Rodgers signed that extension, I would say, yeah, they would move on because they want to appease Rodgers. But right now, I don't think they want to necessarily bend to what he wants. Not all the time. Some things, yes, but I don't think they're going to let him control the coach as far as if he stays or goes. So I think he'll be back again next year.